What's going on, folks? Sir Charles Carey here with the Desktop Discussions. I'm hoping that the new year has come in fine for you. I'm hoping that everything is the way it's supposed to be and that you are 100% ready to hit the ground running. And I know I am, but sometimes how fast I run and how fast you run may be totally different. So let's leave a little space for grace because everyone doesn't run at the same pace. And I get that. But anyway, today's topic, it was created for, I guess, an array of reasons because a lot of us, there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of junk in our head. There's a lot of junk on the airwaves. And sometimes we don't really realize our own actions. So when we say, are you good at it? Do you want it or do you need it? The reason for that is simply because we get caught up. We get caught up in the fads. We get caught up in the trends. And I told you that this year I was going to pick and present some really good, or what I consider inviting topics to bring to desktop discussions. And we're not done. We're still making the airplane as we fly, as they would say, or flying the airplane as we make it, as it has been said. So the question again, are you good at it? Do you want it or do you need it? Is proposed to you because I think that with desktop discussions, we talk about things that are everyday thoughts, but you don't always realize that you're not the only one thinking them. And I forgot to isolate the sound because I can hear that outdoor sound. So give me a second just to isolate all the extra noise. And we're live. Also, had to grab my water. That's always important. You got to stay hydrated. But yeah, so when I think about it, and I ask the question, for example, you know, are you good at it? We have to come to terms with whatever it is that we're trying to be known for. And I know I suffered going through this dilemma. I call it a dilemma because a lot of times we're just trying to keep up with the pack. And I know I've said that in a different way already, but that's the not the bottom line. 9 times out of 10, we have friends or associates that are doing things that we find interesting, that we find attractive, and we are doing the same things that they're doing, not realizing that maybe we should be doing something a little bit different, or in some cases, a lot differently. And that's a realization. For some of us, it takes us a while to get it. For others of us, we kind of get it soon. But regardless to when you get it, the point is that you get it. And that's very key in your development, how you utilize your resources, how you grow, how you become the person that hopefully you will be known for. And the truth of the matter is, I say this a lot in some of my workshops and keynotes, you have to fail in order to prevail. And what does that simply mean? That means you're going to make mistakes on your way to your success. You're not going to always have everything lined out or lined up the way you actually want it and the way you see it in your mind. Now, a lot of times it is, but let's face it, we're human. No one is flawless. No one is absolutely perfect. So we have to realize it. So let's attack it one bite at a time. Do you need it? Okay, that's really important. Maybe we should go the other way, but no, let's just move this way. Do you need it? A lot of times circumstances determine our drive. So if you need a thing, if you need to pay the rent, if you need food on your table, that will determine whether the thing you're doing is what you should be doing. You see, that's when it doesn't matter how glamorous or how fancy or highfalutin something might be. If there is a direct need, you are going to apply yourself. You are going to throw yourself at that thing because you realize the importance of it. For example, I look at a couple of my mentors, Dr. Willie Jolly, and I've worked with Delatoro McNeil, Dr. Delatoro now, and we have very similar backgrounds. And I don't mean just um, speaking, but that's one of them. Music, as you know, Dr. Jolly performs and has performed and used to perform in a band. You may remember that Del Toro used to want to be in like a doo-wop or a boy band. He was with a black group, he said, and he was with a white group growing up. So we got music, we've got speaking, we're all authors, right? And then for Del Toro and I, we both work with a company called Arthur Anderson. He worked with Anderson Consultant. I work with Arthur Anderson. And my point is, for Dr. Jolly and for Del Toro, they both were forced to deal with their circumstances in an immediate fashion, so to speak. Dr. Jolly got fired from doing his nightclub act because the karaoke machine became important. So he had to find a different way of earning his keep. And that's how he was introduced to the craft of speaking. Del Toro worked with Anderson Consultant, and he had just bought a condo or something, some big ticket item. I don't remember exactly what it was, but then he was let go. And well, how is he going to now take care of these expenses that he just incurred? So there was a need that they both immediately had to address, and that's exactly what they did. Now, me on the other hand, I had a more casual approach. So now you're starting to see that things we had in common, they were different. They had more needs, and I did not have that immediate need. Had I had that immediate need, my approach with my career and my entrepreneurial endeavors may have been different. Now, I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. However, I've always had a job or a steady income. So when I was exhibiting or executing my entrepreneurial side of my life, it was backed up by the job. So I had support, right? So there lies the difference. So my question to you, do you need it or not? Because if you need it, whatever it is, being a lawyer, being a carpenter, being a singer, whatever it may be, being an influencer, if you need it, you will figure out ways of making that thing monetize. You will figure out a way of making that thing a household name, branding. You will figure a way of making that thing truly, truly count. And I know for myself, and I didn't always know, I'm not sure who that is. Hey, thanks for joining on. But I didn't always know how important it was to really apply yourself full throttle because I had the comfort and the cushion of having that steady income coming in. So there lies the difference. So let's go to the next point. And I hope you're writing this stuff down. If you're not, look at the replay. You can even put hashtag replay or hashtag live so that I can engage you if need be. And if there are any questions, by all means, please post your questions. I'd love to get your feedback. Do you want it? Now, the wants, right? Wants are usually, how would I say it? Our interests are driven by trends and fads and, fanfare, things that are just popular at the moment. So it may not be the thing that's really that important, but because it's hot, because it's new, like TikTok or another social media platform, right? Because it's new, people jump to it, they're on it, they get good at it. All of a sudden, they're known for it. So, do you want it? See, the difference between wants and needs are very different, very great. When you need it, it's almost a thing of desperation. When you want it, it's a preference, it's a choice, you know, and it's a choice that's not as important. It's a little more mild mannered. So my question is, do you want it? In fact, do you even know what your thing is? Do you know what you're searching for, what you're going after? Do you know the brand that you're trying to create? Is that really who you are? So you need to know, do you want it or do you need it? Because once again, if you need it, you are going to go with it, maybe even with reckless abandon. That means you're going to do any and everything you can, hopefully legal, to make it happen. And if you want it, there's not such a immediate need, immediate action. You just take it in stride. You go after it. You get it. So that's the want, right? And the number one thing is, are you good at it? That's the topic. Are you good at it? Do you want it or do you need it? So we're at the number one thing. Are you good at it? And you have to be honest with yourself. Are you good at it? Simply. I ask you that because, our natural talents sometimes give us a false sense of hope as it relates to who we are and how we show up in the marketplace. And I've been that guy. I remember several occasions, not necessarily a lot, but several occasions when I thought I had it in the bag because I'm good at it, but there was so much more to it. See, the talent is one thing, and the passion, that's something entirely different. So we have to learn to really see ourselves for who we really are. And in many cases, we don't know how to do that, or we simply don't do that. And if we could see ourselves for who we really are, not only could we make a lot more headway, but we would show up more authentically in the marketplace. I remember in the shooting the keynote, there was a moment that Delo Charles said he wanted to see me in the cellar, and he asked me a lot of questions. And what it amounted to, he said, "Look, people need to feel you. You've got all this and all that. That's great. But people actually need to feel you in your delivery." And since that moment, I'm pretty sure people feel me, which is why they bring me in. So I'm saying the same thing to you. Are you good at it? And if you are, great. But is that really where you want to be? Because a lot of times we're taking ourselves for granted just because I can sing or I can draw. Yeah, but do you understand behind the business? Do you understand the way to really engage and interact with people in a way that makes it meaningful? You need to understand the truth about who you are and how you are. So, are you good at it? Do you want it or do you need it? You see, and this is some things that I'm going to suggest for you to do. Quiet yourself and get real. Write this down. Quiet yourself and get real. It's not the first time you've heard me talk about being quiet, and quiet is underrated because a lot of answers come to you when you are quiet. Don't wait till you become a seasoned man like myself to finally get all the answers. Although I must admit, for some of us, that's exactly what happens. It takes a long time for us to really get the message, to get the bottom line. And we look back sometimes and say, oh man, if I'd only known what I know. But you know what? Like fine wine, everything and everyone has their time. And that's a fact. Maybe it's meant for you to get it much later. Maybe you would not have appreciated it sooner or younger. Maybe you would have burned out had you gotten the message much sooner. Maybe now, with the wisdom you have, you can appreciate it in your delivery at doing whatever it is, an accountant, an office manager, you know, a service leader in your place of worship, whatever it is. Maybe now when it's most impactful. So you have to understand, to be quiet and get real with you is very important. And then you need to discern and determine whether you're good at it, you want it, or you need it. What serves you best out of all the things that you can do, out of all the things that you're doing? What literally serves you best? You have to be honest about that. And the reason why you have to be honest about it is because if you're not, you're going to continue to waste time and you're going to continue to waste resources. I'm talking about human capital, I'm talking about financial capital. You're going to waste. And I don't know about you, but tomorrow isn't promised to anyone. And if you got a guarantee card or voucher, I like to know how to get one for myself. Okay, let's just keep it real. And then you have to ask yourself, where do the essentials lay? Meaning all the things that you can do. What's truly most important? What is it that's going to pay your bills? What is it that's going to give you a quality of life? What is it that's truly most important? And once you identify that or those things, put them in their right place. That's going to be crucial to your development and to the development of those that you serve. Because there are people out there waiting to hear your story the way you tell it. And if you're telling it with all honesty and truth, that's the most important thing. You know, if you need to move further with this topic, I highly recommend it because it's not to be taken lightly. You know, sometimes someone can give you a 2 hour talk and you get nothing out of it. But if you have a short, brief message that speaks volumes, you will learn so much. So I invite you to comment here, inbox me, call me at 301-254-2275. Let's discuss what you need so that we can take you to the next level. You know, everybody doesn't need the same thing, and everybody doesn't need the same thing at the same time. But you must be honest with yourself if you expect to get the results that you need. So with that being said, you got comments, leave them there. If not, remember, you got to radiate the brain and change the game. Look forward to what we have coming up this year.